Since the dawn of the universe, when heaven and earth had yet to be divided, when light and darkness were still intertwined, the world already existed with supreme beings, known by two sacred words, the gods. But the gods of Greek mythology were never as gentle as humans might believe. They could love with wild passion. They could hate with ruthless cruelty. They could envy, fight, and rule the world with unmatched power. On the peak of Mount Olympus, there are gods whose very names alone strike fear into the entire universe. These are the gods who hold destiny in their hands, who command life and death, who could wipe out all of humankind in their wrath. But who are they? Who is truly the mightiest of all in the world of Greek mythology? Today, let us embark on a journey to discover the 5 most powerful, most legendary, and most terrifying gods on Mount Olympus. Names that have become immortal, names forever tied to absolute power, and names that will always be humanity's eternal fear. Zeus, the mightiest god. At the highest peak of Mount Olympus, amidst the thick layers of clouds, there stands a throne, carved from lightning itself, shining like the very first light of the universe. That throne belongs to one and only one being, the one whom both gods and mortals alike must bow their heads to and call by 2 words, King of Gods. That being is Zeus, the strongest, the supreme, and the most powerful figure in all of Greek mythology. Zeus is not merely the god who rules the sky. He is the one who judges the fate of others. He is the embodiment of justice, but also the terror of divine wrath. With just a wave of his hand, the entire sky could tremble. Lightning would strike down. Storms could swallow entire cities. And no one could stand against him. But that power was not something he was simply born with. Zeus was the youngest son of Cronus, the cruel Titan king. Cronus feared a prophecy that his own child would one day overthrow him. And so, every time his children were born, Cronus devoured them, imprisoning them in his stomach. But Zeus was the only child who escaped. Saved by his mother, raised in secret within a hidden cave, Zeus grew up, not only with extraordinary strength, but also with a deep and burning hatred toward his father. And then, when the destined moment arrived, Zeus rose. Armed with the very first lightning bolt in history, he defeated Cronus, overthrew the mighty Titan Empire, and freed his siblings, Poseidon and Hades. After their victory, the 3 brothers divided the universe among themselves. Poseidon ruled the sea, Hades ruled the underworld, and Zeus became the king of the sky, the supreme ruler of Mount Olympus. But from that day on, Zeus was no longer merely a brother or a son. He had become an immortal god, the giver of life, the bringer of death, the wielder of lightning, the symbol of absolute power, and he became the one being whom no one on this earth would ever dare defy. Zeus, the king of the gods, the ruler of Olympus, and the ultimate proof that in the world of Greek mythology, only the strong have the right to write the law. If Zeus is the ruler of the skies, Poseidon is the lord of the oceans, then deep beneath the earth, where no light can reach, there exists a solitary god, one who holds absolute power over death and darkness. That god is Hades, king of the underworld. Hades is unlike any other god of Mount Olympus. He has no radiant kingdom, no songs of praise or divine light. His realm is cloaked in cold, eternal shadows, a land of wandering souls with no escape, where the river Styx flows endlessly, and Cerberus, the massive 3-headed hound, guards the gates of the underworld. Hades is the brother of Zeus and Poseidon, After overthrowing Cronus, the three brothers divided the universe. But fate assigned Hades to rule the darkest domain, the underworld, the realm of the dead. In Greek mythology, Hades is not the embodiment of evil. He doesn't hunger for war, nor does he crave power like Zeus or Poseidon. What Hades commands is simply death. But it is that which makes him terrifying, because no one can escape death. And when the gates of the underworld open, no soul can flee the cold hand of Hades. The ancient Greeks feared him so deeply, they dared not speak his name aloud. They believed that even mentioning him could summon death. Instead, they called him by other names, the Wealthy One, for he possessed all the gold and treasures buried underground. The Lord of Shadows, for he never left his lifeless kingdom. Hades is no monster, nor is he a tyrant. He is the embodiment of the universe's harshest justice, because whether king or beggar, God or mortal, in the end, all must bow before the king of the underworld. Hades, the god no one loves, but no one dares defy. He holds the key between life and death. And when he calls your name, no one in it can say no. If Zeus is the king of the sky and Hades is the lord of the underworld, then far away beyond the distant horizon, amidst the deep blue ocean, bottomless and boundless, there is a God who rules over every wave, every storm, and every fierce sea. Poseidon, one of the three most powerful brothers in Greek mythology. He who fought alongside Zeus and Hades to overthrow the mighty Titan Empire. And after that great victory, the vast ocean became his inviolable domain. Poseidon appears with his legendary weapon, the trident, the symbol of absolute power. With just one loud roar, the entire ocean would rise up in fury. With a single strike of his trident into the earth, the land would tremble, volcanoes would erupt, earthquakes would shake the world. For he is not only the god of the sea, but also the god of earthquakes, of sudden, violent, unstoppable rage. Poseidon is the embodiment of freedom, wildness, and untamed spirit in Greek mythology. He loves freedom as much as the waves love the open sea. But he is also full of pride, quick to anger, ready to punish anyone who dares to challenge his authority. Poseidon's ocean is not always calm and peaceful. Sometimes it lies still like a mirror. But the moment he is displeased, storms could swallow thousands of ships. Entire coastal cities could be drowned. Poseidon is the father of countless mythical creatures, from giant sea monsters, the winged horse Pegasus, to the merfolk, half-human, half-fish beings who dwell at the bottom of the ocean. He is the symbol of power, of the raw force of nature, something no one can command or control. In Greek legends, the most terrifying enemy is not a monster, but Poseidon's wrath. Because when that happens, the sea is no longer a shelter for humankind, but becomes an endless grave, swallowing all those foolish enough to defy him. Poseidon, the god of the sea, the one who holds the soul of the ocean waves, the figure who stands between freedom and destruction, and the living proof that, in this world, nature has never been something to easily conquer. Athena, goddess of wisdom and war. There is a deity on Mount Olympus who needs neither the thunderbolts of Zeus, nor the raging seas of Poseidon, nor the icy shadows of Hades. Her most powerful weapon is simply wisdom. She is Athena, the goddess of wisdom, war, and justice, a symbol of intelligence, composure, and masterful strategy. Athena is not one who conquers with brute force. She brings her enemies to ruin with sharp intellect and moves no one ever sees coming. Athena was not born like other gods. She emerged from the head of Zeus. After Zeus swallowed her mother, the goddess Metis, out of fear that their child would one day overthrow him. On that fateful day, Zeus was in unbearable pain, as if his head was about to explode, and from his forehead, Athena appeared, clad in gleaming golden armor, spear in one hand, shield in the other, powerful and majestic. She was the embodiment of absolute wisdom and a goddess who had never known fear. Athena is not only the goddess of war, but also the protector of cities, of peace and justice. Wherever there is unjust war, Athena will intervene. Wherever there is intellect and creativity, Athena will bestow her blessings. The legendary city of Athens is the city named after her, protected and guided by her through the ages. Her symbol is the Aegis shield, bearing the head of Medusa at its center, striking fear into all who face it, and the owl, the creature that embodies clarity and wisdom in the darkness. Athena does not need brute force to win. She teaches humans how to think, to create, and to protect what is right through wisdom. In the world of Greek mythology, where strength is often worshipped over intellect, Athena stands as immortal proof that intelligence is the sharpest weapon, calmness is the most lasting victory, and justice always belongs to the most steadfast. Athena, goddess of wisdom and righteous war, the most powerful woman on Mount Olympus. Cronus, the titan of time and fate. Before Zeus ruled the skies, before Poseidon commanded the seas, before Hades reigned over the underworld, the entire universe belonged to a primordial titan god, the most terrifying, the most powerful, the most ruthless of them all. His name was Cronus, the god of time and fate. Cronus was not just a mighty god. He was the embodiment of the quietest destruction, time itself, because nothing in this world can escape time. All power will eventually fade. All rulers will eventually be devoured, just like the way Cronus devoured his own children. Legend has it, Cronus was foretold in a prophecy that one day his very own child would overthrow him. And so, that fear turned him into the most merciless father in all of Greek mythology. Cronus, after his wife gave birth to each child, swallowed them whole, one by one, without hesitation, without a trace of fatherly love. Goddess Hestia, Goddess Demeter, Goddess Hera, Poseidon, and Hades, all of them were imprisoned within the belly of Cronus. But destiny cannot be escaped. When Zeus was born, the sorrowful mother, Rhea, tricked Cronus with a stone wrapped in cloth and secretly hid Zeus away. Zeus grew up not only carrying the power of the sky, but also bearing a seething hatred for his cruel father. The fateful day finally arrived. The war between Zeus and Cronus tore apart both heaven and earth. Zeus, together with his siblings, freed from their father's stomach, joined forces to overthrow the once glorious Titan Empire. Cronus was defeated. His empire collapsed, and from that moment on, the age of the Olympian gods began. Cronus, who once was the king of the universe, but fell because of his own fear. In Greek mythology, he is the symbol of time, of power, and a reminder that the mightiest ruler is not always the one who reigns forever, because in the end, everyone must surrender to the invisible force called time.